For most of the 20th century, the United States stood as a symbol of strength unlike anything the world had ever seen. American industry powered the free world. American technology reshaped modern life. And American military power became so overwhelming that it redefined what war itself meant. From aircraft carriers that ruled the oceans to missiles that could cross continents in minutes, the United States possessed a force so vast that even its enemies struggled to comprehend it. To millions of people living under fear and oppression, that power represented protection. To America's rivals, it represented something far more terrifying: inevitability. Nowhere was that fear stronger than inside the Soviet Union. American technology advanced at a pace the Kremlin could barely match, and every new radar system, every satellite launch, every weapons test carried an unspoken message. The United States was always watching, always ready, always ahead. Soviet planners lived with a constant anxiety that one day, without warning, American missiles might rise from the ground and end everything they knew in a matter of minutes. That fear shaped decisions, doctrines, and systems built not for peace but for survival. By the early 1980s, the world stood closer to nuclear war than most people ever realized. The Cold War was no longer an abstract struggle of speeches and diplomacy. It had become a fragile standoff, balanced on technology, mistrust, and the belief that hesitation meant death. Both superpowers had built arsenals capable of destroying civilization many times over, and both believed that if war came, it would come suddenly and without mercy. In that world, the greatest danger was not hatred, but misunderstanding. The Soviet Union, deeply aware of American technological superiority, invested heavily in systems designed to detect the first sign of a U.S. nuclear strike. They knew they could not afford to be late. A delay of even a few minutes could mean total annihilation. So they built machines to watch the skies constantly, machines that would never grow tired, never hesitate, and never question their instructions. These systems were meant to remove doubt from decision-making, replacing human judgment with cold calculation. One of those systems became operational in 1983. It was a space-based early warning network designed to detect American intercontinental ballistic missiles the moment they left their silos. If it worked as intended, Soviet leadership would have just enough time to retaliate before their own cities were destroyed. It was a system built on speed, automation, and absolute trust in technology. What it was not built for was uncertainty. Inside a secret command center outside Moscow, a small team of officers monitored that system around the clock. Among them was a lieutenant colonel named Stanislav Petrov. He was not famous. He was not politically powerful. He was an engineer by training, a man who understood how systems failed because he understood how they were built. He had studied mathematics, logic, and probability, and he knew that no machine, no matter how advanced, was ever perfect. On the night of September 26, 1983, Petrov was the senior officer on duty. The shift was supposed to be routine. The system was new, still being evaluated, but there was no expectation of anything unusual. The Cold War had produced many tense moments, but that night was meant to pass quietly, like so many others. Then the alarm sounded. A warning signal lit up the main screen, announcing that an American missile had been launched toward the Soviet Union. The system classified the threat as real. Its confidence level was high. According to protocol, Petrov was required to report this immediately up the chain of command. From there, the information would reach Soviet leadership, who would have only minutes to decide whether to launch a full-scale nuclear retaliation. Petrov froze, not out of fear, but out of doubt. One missile did not make sense. American military doctrine was clear. If the United States launched a nuclear attack, it would not begin with a single missile. It would unleash an overwhelming strike designed to eliminate any chance of retaliation. A lone missile contradicted everything Petrov knew about strategy, planning, and logic. Before he could fully process that thought, the system sounded the alarm again. A second missile was detected, then a third, then a fourth, then a fifth. Each warning increased the system's confidence. Each one brought the world closer to the edge. The room fell silent. Every eye turned toward Petrov. Procedures were clear. His responsibility was not to analyze or question, but to report. The system said the missiles were real. The doctrine demanded immediate action. Delay could mean the destruction of the Soviet Union. Petrov felt the weight of history pressing down on him. If he reported an attack and was wrong, he would help trigger a nuclear war to